The photo hit my inbox at 2:17 a.m., no message, no context. Just one image that changed everything. My sister's smile. My mother's eyes. And my fiancé, his arm around both of them. That was the night my world stopped breathing. For a while, I just stared at the screen, waiting for some rational explanation to appear in the pixels. Maybe it was old. Maybe it was photoshopped. Maybe it was some twisted coincidence. But no, the ring on his hand, the date on the corner, everything was current. My chest tightened, my vision blurred. I closed the laptop, but the image was already burned into my mind. My name is Leela Whitman. I'm 31 years old. And until that night, I thought I understood loyalty. I thought family meant safety, that love meant trust. But that photo, it taught me that betrayal doesn't always come from enemies. Sometimes it comes from the people you die protecting. The morning after, the city outside looked the same, too normal for how broken I felt. I walked into my office with numb steps, holding a coffee cup I couldn't taste. My assistant Maya smiled politely, though her eyes studied me like she knew something was off. "Morning, Leela," she said. "Investors are waiting in the conference room. Oh, and your sister, here already." My pulse jumped. "Erica." She nodded. She said she's handling the catering setup for the launch. Of course she was. Erica always had perfect timing, always showing up when the spotlight was warm. She was my younger sister, but somehow she'd always been treated like the fragile one, the one who needed protecting. When I entered the room, she was laughing with the investors, tossing her blonde hair back like she owned the place. "Hey sis," she chirped when she saw me. "Big day, huh?" I forced a smile. "Yeah, big day." She came over and hugged me. I felt her perfume, the same floral scent our mother wore. It almost broke me. Throughout the meeting, she spoke smoothly, confidently. She charmed everyone. And the more she talked, the more I wanted to scream. Every flash of her smile reminded me of that photo. When it ended, I walked straight into my office and shut the door. My hands were shaking as I picked up my phone. "Ryan," I said when he answered, my voice barely steady. "Where were you last night?" He paused. "Out with friends, why?" "Which ones?" Matt, I think, maybe Jeff." "With my mother and sister." Silence, long, deliberate silence. "Leela, it's not what you think." But I hung up before he could twist it. I couldn't listen to another excuse. That evening, my mother called. Her voice was soft, like she was already guilty. "Sweetheart," she began, "I think you might have misunderstood something." "Did you see the photo?" I asked quietly. She hesitated. "Yes, but it's not what it looks like. Erica was talking to Ryan about a business opportunity. I was just there." I laughed, hollow and bitter. "You think I'm stupid?" "No," she said quickly. "But family doesn't throw accusations like that. Sometimes peace is more important than being right." That line hit me like a slap. Because all my life, that was how she'd kept us quiet. Whenever Erica messed up, the stolen credit card, the unpaid loan, the endless lies, it was always about keeping peace. Even if peace meant breaking me. A week later, everything came crashing down. A major client called, furious. "Your sister leaked our campaign," they said. "We're pulling out." I froze. That's not possible. But it was. The digital trail led right to her company. Files, emails, even timestamps. When I confronted Erica, she denied it instantly. "It wasn't me. Someone hacked my system." But her voice wavered. She couldn't meet my eyes. That night, I went to Mom's house. She opened the door, eyes tired. "She made a mistake, Leela," she said before I could even speak. Don't destroy her over this. I'm not destroying her, I whispered. She's doing that herself. Mom reached out to touch my arm. You've always been so hard, honey. You don't know how to forgive. Forgive, that word again. I turned away. Maybe you don't know how to protect the right person. The next day, I had to call the investors, the clients, the lawyers. It felt like pulling my own company out of quicksand. Each conversation took a piece of me with it. By the end of the week, Erica stormed into my office. You reported me, she shouted. I looked up from my desk slowly. You left me no choice. She threw a folder across the room. Do you know what you've done? They're investigating me, Leela. My name is ruined. I stood up. You did that when you sold our clients' data. You think you're better than me, don't you? She snapped. Just because you've got your fancy company and your perfect little life. I walked around the desk, meeting her eyes. No, Erica, I just worked for mine. She scoffed, eyes glistening with rage. You'll regret this. Her words lingered long after she slammed the door. The following week, Ryan came over. He looked nervous, hands in his pockets. They told me what you did, he said quietly. You ruined your sister's life. I stared at him in disbelief. I ruined her life. Ryan, she stole from me. She was desperate, he said. You could have handled it privately. My voice cracked. Like you handled it privately when you took her to dinner behind my back. He froze. I could see the realization dawn on his face that I knew more than he thought. Leela, he whispered, I swear nothing happened. She needed someone to talk to. I laughed bitterly. She always does, doesn't she? He sighed, frustrated. You've changed, you're colder now. Maybe I finally learned to stop burning myself to keep others warm. He didn't say another word. He just turned and left, and I didn't stop him. That night, the apartment felt quieter than ever. The city hummed below my window, but all I could hear was the echo of my own heartbeat. Days passed, weeks. The scandal with Erica's company spread quietly through the industry. She lost contracts, clients, credibility. Mom stopped calling. Every time I passed a family photo, I had to look away. I threw myself into work. My days became a blur of meetings and deadlines. Maya was the only one who noticed the exhaustion behind my calm. One night, as I was shutting down my computer, she appeared at the door. Leela, you've been here 14 hours, she said gently. Go home. I forced a smile. Home doesn't feel like home lately. She hesitated, then said softly, You did what you had to. Sometimes protecting yourself means losing people you love. I nodded, but her words sat heavy on my chest. 2 months later, I was leaving the office when I saw her, Erica. Standing in the rain outside the glass doors, soaked to the skin, holding an envelope in her hands. Please, she said when I stepped outside. Her voice was trembling. Just talk to me. I stood still. The air was cold, the rain sharp. I can explain, she said quickly. Mom, been sick over all this. We never meant for things to go this far. Help, I said quietly. You mean the kind of help where you use me until I'm empty. Her lip quivered. You think you're perfect, don't you? No, I said softly, just tired. Her eyes filled with tears. You're not family anymore, she shouted suddenly, voice cracking. She hit the glass door with her palms, the sound echoing in the empty lobby. When she finally left, her car's tires hissed against the wet road, and I just stood there, shaking. Maya found me minutes later. What happened? Nothing, I said quietly. Absolutely nothing. The next morning, I filed a restraining report. Maya helped me with the paperwork. You're doing the right thing, she said. You've been through enough. But as I signed my name, my hands trembled. I didn't feel strong. I felt hollow. The weeks that followed blurred together. The business recovered slowly. Clients returned. The office buzzed again. But the silence at home was unbearable. I'd scroll through old photos, birthdays, dinners, holidays, and wonder if all those smiles had been lies. One night, I opened my old journal. On the first page, in my handwriting, were the words, "Family is forever." I stared at them until the ink blurred through my tears. Then, a few weeks later, an envelope arrived in the mail, no return address. Inside was a Polaroid photo, Mom and Erica sitting on a park bench, both smiling faintly. On the back, written in Erica's handwriting, were 2 words. "I'm sorry." I don't know how long I sat there staring at it. Maybe an hour, maybe more. Then I placed the photo inside my journal. Next to the last entry, I had written the night everything fell apart. "This stops now." And for the first time, I felt it had. I didn't lose a family. I just stopped carrying the version of them that kept breaking me. That night, I walked to the window, watching the city lights flicker below. The same world that once felt cruel now looked calm, almost forgiving. Maybe peace doesn't come from fixing people. Maybe it comes from finally forgiving yourself for letting them go. And as the rain began to fall again, I whispered to no one, "Goodbye, Erica." Not in anger, not in bitterness, just in release. Because sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stop trying to save the ones who keep setting you on fire and learn to walk away without looking back.